Basically, phased construction is actually the efficient and optimization of resources on a project, especially construction, based on different parts or phases, since usually you don't have all the money or you don't have all the finances to run the entire project. So the project is usually broken down into phases so that you can easily engage your finances and properly appropriate them to finish a given phase. It could be maybe foundation, then you do plinth walling, then you do roofing alone, then you do installation of windows, then you do installation of doors, then you do installation of mechanical and electricals, do plastering, do the external boundary, do the paving. All of them, when they are done independently without being done at the same level or same time, so that you have that space in between one activity so that they don't interlock and disturb you financially. So basically that is phased construction. Phased construction can be used on any type of project, starting from government, big projects, NGOs, and all other organizations that do construction. Because you are allocating the finances available to cover a given stage of any project without stopping. So what usually happens is that the planner or the financier has got a budget that is limited to a certain phase, and he cannot proceed to continue and finish the project without that phase being finished. Sometimes we see in government whereby the government has a financial year and has got a budget which is limited to certain resources. You find the client possibly has got a little money which can only cover maybe foundation, or you find an NGO has got funders who can be capable of small financing for phase one. So possibly I believe that phased construction is applicable to all projects, provided there is limited funding that is available for that project. So if you're going to use the methodology of phased construction, one, you must have at least all complete drawings for easy planning. When you have a proper vision that has been translated into drawings, the drawings are either have been approved or they are still in the design process, you have to prepare the bills of quantities for entirely finished projects, then know which person is going to execute. When you have those two, they help you to easily identify what is the exact cost that is going to take over each phase. Then you break down the project into phases, possibly on how you can manage. And now, because now you're using phased construction, you have to incorporate that issue of inflation, because as time goes on, the money you plan also loses in value. So what happens is, after having all drawings, having all the bills of quantities ready, having a person who's going to take over as a contractor, then I can have different phases broken down based on my available resources. This could be foundation, then plinth walling, then roofing, then mechanical, electrical, and plumbing installation, then closing internally and externally. Then we go to finishes, then we go to interior and exterior as we prepare the project for handover. So those are some of the phases that can be used in phased construction. One, if you are managing the costs involved, you must have planned from initially to know how much is required. The planner or the architect or the person or project manager who is involved in your project should have given the overall project costs before even starting, so that we know how much money is required per each phase. We should be able to know what has caused the variations up if they come. We should be able to know what is the time that is going to be taken to move from one phase to another. How will these people who are executing and the financier be in touch to ensure that they don't have any damages that are there? Of course, if you use that phased construction, you might need security because some of the materials, some of the things will be exposed to the society. With that, you are able to control the costs that are involved in the phased construction model. So I tentatively believe that if you have put a lot of checks from anything that can either increase the project cost, you can be able to control the phasing of your project and be able to complete it as required. One, you have to, of course, have the final budget of what you want to execute. Two, you must have a designated contractor who is going to accept, that is going to help you in the execution of that project on that amount. Then you have to incorporate inflation in your bills of quantities. The cost of $1, the cost of materials today cannot be the same cost next year. So you must incorporate with that. We usually allow a 5% contingents for that inflation so that you cater for it. Then you should be able to plan and be sure of the source of income or know the timelines. At least the project should not take all that long if you want to not to have a variation, because the more it takes time, you might not avoid those changes that might come as you face the project. But otherwise, it can be controlled if you initially start knowing the overall cost of the entire project from initiation to completion, and the timing is not all that wide. I would prefer that you have to limit your construction to at least 4 to 5 phases. That is, one, you can start from construction of the foundation to completion. Then you make an oversight if you are not having enough money. Then when you get the money, you build from the oversight to roofing and do the roofing. That becomes an entire phase. From there, then you go organize finances for closing the entire structure and providing all the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing equipments. That could be an entire phase because they are also costly. Then after that, you prepare finances for doing finishes. Then after that, you have those been put. Even before doing the finishes, you put those and the finishes at a go. Then after that, you think of at least interior and exterior finishes. Then you get your finished project in the short term. So you should not exceed at least 4 to 5 phases in your phasing so that the project does not go out of the initial costs of planning.